Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
It's lights out and away we go. Alberto's got away beautifully at the start of the great race. Who's that got off?
Leclerc.
Charles Leclerc.
Welcome to Negative Camber, the Motorsport Show.
Far enough back, he's going to make the lunge down the inside.
The ultimate pit stop.
The safety car is coming in.
Fueling your passion for motorsport.
With an emotional moment that means everything.
All of the latest results, analysis, and interviews.
Roar the drivers on to the final lap of this race.
I'm Jamie Lemura, motorsport enthusiast, historian, and media presenter.
And I'm Leigh Harrison, motorsport professional, Sprint Master Australia race driver, and Formula One alumni.
Hello everyone and welcome to another instalment of Negative Camber, the Motorsport Show. I'm your host Jamie Lemura, and alongside me, he's literally just stepped off the plane from a week sojourn with his wonderful wife, the prawn-looking, self-confessed lover of centre of attention. I'm talking about Mr. Leigh Harrison.
See that you have been talking to our good friend Biscuits.
I must confess, I have been on the Caravis Maha payroll, and yes, I did have a catch up with Biscuits the other day. We were talking all things NASCAR, and there was he actually. They do say, I'm going to be speaking on their behalf because somehow I've become the consigliere in all this, that they said that you did a fantastic job being the MC. They loved what you said, and I sort of said, well, Leigh has a heart. I like it. There's a soft side to Leigh. This is great. But no, they really loved the effort that you put in, and they were very, very grateful for all the effort that you did for their wedding last week. So congratulations to those two.
Yeah, congratulations to Matt and to Kayla. I mean, good to hear that I did a good job when a couple of people threw me under the bus late on and I had to do a speech and everything as well with little to no heads up. All that while, still trying to run the business and get ready to go to Noosa as well at the same time. So, it was good fun. And, unfortunately there were a few technical glitches through the night. The venue was very, very well underprepared. Yep. Microphone issues and all sorts of stuff. So, it was a hard one to keep track of without being able to, actually use some microphone and get the attention of the crowd. But it was a fun night all in all, and a good way to celebrate some love.
Considering we sometimes face microphone issues when we're hosting the Karting SA Awards at the dog park down at Ascot Park at the end of the year, you're probably well equipped for that.
Angle Park?
Angle Park, wherever we are. So, But
lucky I've got a big voice and I can project it well across a room when I need to. So, but no, I am looking quite prawn-like. Spent a lot of days in the sun over the last week. And
look good, got to say.
Eaten too much food and had way too many beverages for rehydrating myself, and probably didn't choose the best beverages to undertake that task.
Oh, God. Did you go with the kids or just with your wife?
No, the kids and Shay's mum and dad were there as well. So It was sort of the end of her birthday celebration for the month. It was, spend a week in Noosa with the in-laws.
She celebrated her 40th for a month.
Basically, yeah. There was always something going on. We were just like, it's your birthday. We're going to this wedding because it's your birthday. And, just...
I sold myself short then.
And just topped it off with a week in Noosa in the sun, and it was like a bit of a letdown really, because from what I saw, the weather here was pretty nice this last week as well. So we normally go to Noosa to escape the freezing cold and rain, and we only escape warm temperatures and sunshine.
Spring is on the way though. If you suffer from hay fever, you're already feeling the pollen. You can smell the grass. People start to mow the lawns and all that sort of stuff. You walk outside like, ugh, pollen. But it's been all right. It's hard to decipher what weather we're going to get. Like 1 minute it's freezing cold. I mean, I've dressed up like I'm going to the snow. Mm-hmm. And, earlier in the day, I'm shorts and T-shirt.
Yeah.
So, but no, it looked nice. My brother and my sister-in-law they're on the flight back now from they took an adjoining flight from Melbourne to come back. So they stayed at the RACV, I think it was. Yeah. You guys at the Sofitel?
We were at the Sofitel. Yep. So we did it in style. And look, I was actually a little bit, a few things I was disappointed with, to be honest with you, from a five-star hotel. But the TV was archaic. Couldn't get the smart TV working, so couldn't watch qualifying last night, couldn't watch practice on Friday night. Didn't get the welcoming that we normally get. So
they say bonjour?
They do say bonjour, but normally there's a bit of a glass of champagne on arrival, and we had Shay's mum and dad had booked, the expensive rooms for us all, and even the kids had their own rooms, so it wasn't like we weren't spending a lot of money, but because we were the last check-in, the people that were doing the welcoming decided to shut up shop early and go home, and so they weren't there at 6:30 when we arrived to be welcomed in, and you get the nice warm towel as you're coming off the bus or whatever. So I think they need to just pull their socks up a little bit, but the place was packed out, so everyone wants to stay there.
Everyone travelled over the how many people? I think we were at a 40th birthday last night, Bianca and I, and we were just catching up with a group of friends, and they were saying that X travelled and Y travelled. They went overseas here, over this, and I turned around to Bianca and said, we must be the only people that didn't actually travel to Europe in Adelaide over the last 2 or 3 months, because everyone's gone to Greece, everyone's having photos at Rhodes and Santorini, and everyone's gone to the Cinque Terre. It's like we are a flock of sheep, Lee. We all think the same. There's no one. You did something different. You went to Noosa.
Oh, we do that every year though, but all those things don't really inspire me going to the Greek Isles or whatever. No, there's no racetracks there, so
we'll go to Monza.
That's exactly right. So that's when I go on European holidays, it's to find a racetrack, and that's the rest of the holiday comes as a second option. But I know a lot of people that have been overseas recently as well, and a couple of my competitors from 4SS Medium are overseas at the moment, and going over again soon. So no.
Who are they?
Well, Callan Belmonte's over there in
of course, yes,
in Europe travelling around, and then Wes is over there for the Spain T4 thing.
Has Wes already gone over?
No, I think he leaves in a week or so, but they're making a bit of a holiday of it as well.
Yeah, why not? If you go, it's not every day you go to Spain.
Exactly.
So you may as well take the opportunity and do it. Speaking of racetracks and ticket prices, the Australian Grand Prix right now, in terms of the ticketing process for that, is an absolute joke. It's a rort.
Really?
Oh, absolute rort. $200 you have to pay. So there's 3 steps in the process to purchasing a ticket for the Grand Prix. All right. So because it's all of a sudden the Netflix crowd have all decided to flock to Melbourne, and now it's like the hardest ticket to find in Australia, there's a step process that you've got to go through in order to get the ticket. So last year and this year, they've started this process called Access 23, which is like this little club that gives you like the pre-sale before the pre-sale. All right. So think, say, Telstra, if you're going to say, getting tickets to Paul McCartney, you got Telstra pre-sale, then you had Frontier pre-sale, then you had General Public. So last year, Access 23 was $50 to be a part of this group, which then when they allocated the tickets, you were able to select wherever you sat. You got VIP treatment. Didn't come off the price of the ticket, and then it goes to the next group, which is they get a barcode, and then it goes to General Public. This year, $200 just to be a part of Access 23. You weren't then able to get access to get the ticket that you wanted to select. It was pretty much given for you. No ticket in any grandstand seat is less than $450 to $500. So for one individual, they're paying $700 just to go to the Grand Prix at a seat that may not necessarily be their choosing. On top of that, you've then got flights. On top of that, you've then got accommodation. Right, it's going to... here's a case in point, a good example. So you're talking maybe, let's say, $2,500, $3,000 before we talk about flights. So when I say that, I'm thinking, merchandise, food, expenses, etc. To go 4 days to the Monaco Grand Prix, get a gold grandstand pass at the swimming pool, stay at the Ibis in Nice, and you're only there for 4 days, right? Not including flights, it's $2,500. It's cheaper to go to the Monaco Grand Prix for 4 days than that pancake flat racetrack that they call Melbourne, right? I'd honestly better off going to Singapore and probably end up still being ahead in terms of cash. It is a disgrace.
Yeah, by the time they put their Formula One tax on the airfares going in and out of Melbourne for that week and week and a half, then it's going to be a pretty expensive weekend. But yeah, they've got to pay for it somehow.
Yeah, well, exactly. But I mean, to get, say, if you had 4 tickets. That's what, more than $1,000.
Yeah,
just for 4 tickets, and you haven't got accommodation.
Did you get to pick what grandstand you got to sit in at least, or just not the seat in the grandstand?
This is from people like Ferrari Club members. I haven't even had a chance to get, so I couldn't get Access 23, sold out. I then went to try and get the barcode for Priority, sold out. So I'm relying on other people to, help a brother out to see if I wanted to go. But I'm looking at the mathematics of it, and I'm thinking, is it actually worth it? It's
definitely not.
It's not. I mean, I've been to Melbourne, right, and it's as boring as bat poo. The track is not exactly enticing me to say, oh, wow, it's how many more DRS zones are they going to have at the track just to have a half decent race? Let's just have DRS around the whole lap.
Yep.
For what they're asking for, 5-6 years ago, you could actually buy a ticket to get to the grandstand. It was actually half reasonable. To pay, $600-700 just for a spot, and then pay $200 to join an invisible club.
Yep.
What do you get out of it? Nothing else.
Not a lot
exactly. Well,
yep.
It's a cash grab, to be frankly honest. And who do you pinpoint? The Australian Grand Prix Corporation, or do you pinpoint Formula One?
Oh, it's the Australian Grand Prix Corporation. They're the one that set the ticket prices. It's not Formula One's doing. They're providing a product that everyone wants to go to. And if price demands it, then the Formula One, the Grand Prix Corporation is going to charge it. So they've obviously got the statistics there that they think that they're going to make their bank on it. And hopefully they put some of that money back into providing a better experience for the fans. So you are spending quite a lot of money. Hopefully they make it a better experience for you.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe a good example could be have the V8 supercars where they're not having 10-lap races that are crash strewn, full of safety car periods and compromised to make way for, say, F2, F3, for example. You want to get bang for your buck on track as well. Would be my suggestion as a
maybe slap the supercars drivers around on the wrists and tell them to actually behave themselves, and then
exactly right.
Shortened
exactly
races.
Exactly right. Well, maybe have a better support category. F2, F3, great.
Yeah.
That's world class. Not disputing that. But outside of that, what do you got? Porsches. The S5. I had to laugh. So I went to the bend on the weekend, and we were standing on the rooftop watching the S5000s go past. And you know how we've been quite critical about the sound of the S5000s. There was a few ladies that were watching the racing too, and they turned around. They go, "It sounds like." Where's Lee when I need him? Oh man, I
just recorded a voice memo of those ladies and sent it to me. I was busy. I probably had my helmet on.
Yeah, exactly. So, actually, you would have. It was Festival State Cup.
That's right.
Yeah. So, while we're doing some housekeeping, Pro-Kart's Race Centre and the Scuderia Ferrari Club are doing we're hosting round 5 of the South Australian High-Kart Championship at Pro-Kart's Race Centre on September 24. The Move Yourself Trailer 300, so 300-lap endurance race. That'll test you with some kart preparation. No, not at all? Not phased?
Not phased by it at all.
Oh, are we getting a new fleet, are we, or no?
Not this week. But
not this week?
There is a new fleet coming. Definitely a new fleet coming, but it's not going to be available until mid next year, probably.
Yep.
But no, I'm quite confident that we've got a good bunch of karts at the moment that we've been doing some work on in the meantime, and everything's pretty close. So I'll throw new boots on them the night before, and when you guys rock up first thing in the morning to do the 300 lapper, we'll be sweet as fresh boots and full fuel tanks, and we'll have to do one little fuel stop to put in about half a tank of fuel for each kart, and she'll be sweet as.
Beauty. So yes, compulsory fuel stop, fresh boots, you've heard all that. And then potentially, hopefully, the Ferrari Club will be having a watch party for the Japanese Grand Prix, which will be an hour or two after the race finishes. So race starts 10 a.m. I'm expecting 3 hours maybe.
Yeah, it shouldn't take too long. 3-hour race maybe. I think I've put it in the calendar to finish at about 1:30, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
once the race gets going, it'll be over pretty quickly. Like a 200 lapper normally takes us just under 2 hours. So it should be sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. But $250 a driver. There will be some food provided, like barbecue and stuff like that throughout the race, and certainly snacks and drinks throughout too. It is partly towards the SA High-Kart Championship, but there are going to be some spots available for general public who want to come in and have a crack as well. Jump onto the Scuderia Ferrari Club website, www.sfcadelaide.com/online store to secure your spot. The entries will close on September the 17th, just to give Mr. Harrison and the team at Pro Karts enough time to allocate karts and make sure they're all prepped, but also for us to make sure that we've got relevant numbers and we can run a very, very good event. That's good. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a fun weekend. Like the last lot of enduros that we've done for ourselves for the Pro Karts Race Centre Endurance Championship. They've been really close and they've really come down to the wire. So, we make sure we've got some fast go-karts. Hopefully you guys get your team pairings right and you've got some good evened out team pairings, because, if a couple of the good drivers get together and they'll walk away with it. But,
random draw.
There you go.
So we're having the lights in one hat and the heavies in the other hat, and we just pluck one in front of everyone live, like in person, in flesh. So it'll be what it'll be.
Yep. It's going to be what it's going to be.
If people pick me, providing I'm racing, they will be blessed.
Yeah. Well, and as long as the drivers, you all know, you have a look at the leaderboard before you jump in your go-kart, so you know who you're racing against, and there's no, unnecessary blocking or driving defensively for no reason that just sort of can disrupt the race, and there shouldn't be any reason for any yellow or red flags, which should be good.
Nah, it's the only time you ever drive defensively if you want to put on a masterclass for everyone to see. So I've done plenty of that. Probably too much.
Like I did on Sunday.
Oh, yes. I actually, you know what? We have to do it after the break, but I need to hear all this, because based on times, from what I saw, you were very, very close to having your first defeat of the year. Mm-hmm. Very close. Mm-hmm. So I haven't seen any footage. I know nothing. So when I see 300ths of a second, I'm like, oh, Goldfinger was soon to be Broken Finger or something like that. No. So we'll be off to a break, and when we come back, we'll start talking karting, because there's a fair bit to cover on that. We'll hear about Leigh's escapades at the Festival State Cup.
Prepare for a race day like no other at Pro Karts Race Centre, where racing excellence isn't just on the surface, it's in every detail. Your kart is more than a machine, it's a masterpiece of precision and performance. Our race mechanic services ensure your kart is finely tuned, race ready and expertly maintained. Leave the technical details to us while you focus on conquering the track. But we're not just mechanics, we're partners in your victory. Our skilled team provides on-site pit support during race meetings, ensuring that every element is in place for your success. At Pro Karts Race Centre, we're not just about the thrill of the race, we're about the joy of winning. Join us and experience racing excellence from the inside out. Visit prokartsracecentre.com.au or pop in for a chat at 30 Research Road, Karaka. Pro Karts Race Centre, fueling your passion, igniting your potential.
Welcome back to Negative Camber, the Motorsport Show. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. Now we have our regular segment of karting, and shall we do Festival State Cup first? We'll keep it local before we cover the AKC that was held today.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good.
Now, tell me, I looked at the results. Mm-hmm. I know nothing about what happened. I've barely seen footage over the weekend outside of one heat of the heavy class in four-stroke. Yep. But pretty close, it seems.
Are you just talking about for
you?
For mediums?
For you,
yeah. So that class is with the 4SS at Monarto, such a flowing track. The draft is pretty good there. I qualified pretty well in front of anyone, like 2.5 tenths or whatever. And then with Wes on the outside of the front row, I knew that he was going to be able to draft me if I let him get in there. So, yeah, I just made sure I went about the first 2 races making his first couple of corners as difficult as possible. We had a bit of a conversation before racing that he wanted me to sort of not hold back and race him so that he can learn some things for Spain. I sort of didn't hold back, and there was the first start of the weekend. He sort of came towards the middle of the track to me, and I came towards the middle of the track at him, and we met in the middle, and he got a little bit hooked up on my right rear, and so I knew that he was there and might have turned in a little bit more aggressively into turn 1 than I would have normally, and that sort of pushed him a little bit wider than it would have normally. So he lost a couple of positions there, and that sort of helped me get a bit of a break. Race 1 and 2 were pretty cruisy. And then, race 3, he started directly behind me because he had a couple of third placings. Then the fun really started. I can't really remember too much about race 3, race 4 was heaps of fun. I sort of started blocking and driving defensively from lap 1, and if you look at the lap times, you can see I was like 3-4 tenths slower every lap than.
Was that because of the draft?
No, because of the draft, I knew that if I didn't block, they were just going to be able to drive straight past me. You get such a big draft there, you can just shove it up the inside, no worries at all. So I said, well, if you're going to pass me, you're going the long way. And to his credit, he had a couple of good cracks around the outside into turn 1. That didn't come off very well. Then he had a wicked one up the top of the hill. I gave him half a door, and he opened it with no contact, which was killer. And then, I got him back again, going across the top of the hill, or across the back straight. He just left the door wide open, so I drove on in there. And then I think he got me another good one at the end of the main straight, maybe. And then I got him again going back down the hill. But I just was making him go the long way. So ended up being there was a four-kart fight at the front. And then, I just had to, every time he passed me, I just got straight back in front of him as quickly as I could and just tried to make his life as difficult as possible to get past me. So, that sort of continued on. And then, the last lap, I just didn't want to give him a run onto any of the corners. So while I was still being defensive, I was just making sure that I was, a lot slower on the apex of the corner than I had been any other lap. So
doing Will Brown.
Basically, if he was going to get past me, he was going to have to drive through me. So that ended up, sort of came onto the front straight, and I just sort of rolled through the sweeper where normally I would have taken it flat out. And just moved across to the inside of the straight. And as we crossed the line, I could see that he was right there next to me. But he nearly got me. I think it was 1/100th or pretty close to it. So still keep the record intact for the year. I was saying that we haven't actually crossed the finish line second in a race lap at all this year yet, so that was nice to keep that record going. We'll move on to the States this weekend and then Mount Gambier to try and finish off the title.
Yes, it is 4SS season. I love this time of year because all of a sudden the class that in some cases is irrelevant to some in karting SA circles becomes highly relevant, and so we make our way over to the Barossa for the state championships this year, which is a little bull ring, really. It's going to be very, very interesting and very, very tight, in particular in the heavy class as well. So, very hard to... You should walk away with it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. If you don't, you're crap.
No, I'm going to race lights as well for a bit of fun, I reckon. So, yeah. So Cody's going to race our second Sprint Master in lights, and I'll probably enter both, run lights and run it just as a medium weight and just get the extra track time and try a few different things in that class and see what happens. But Monarto was good fun. Some of the at least it was clean racing. The final, I hope the final looked as good on the outside as it felt driving it. it was good fun. And I guess the one thing that I said to Wes afterwards was that he just left the door open every single time he got in front. He drove the outside of the track and just gave me the easiest passes ever. So that's something to keep in mind for when he goes to Spain. That probably don't do that, especially if you're at the front.
Yeah, when you're engaging in a battle like that, though. And I suppose it's very easy to be like, you can look back on in hindsight, but in that moment, are you thoroughly enjoying it, or are you for someone of your experience, or are you sort of sitting there going, school the kid, that type of attitude?
No, like love it. I have like great fun, and like I'm there to, I'm not there to win easily. Like that's not fun. I'm there to try and help everybody out, and like I said, like just driving like that's the sort of driving that he's going to get when he goes over to Spain. Like they're not going to give him any position easy. He's going to have to work hard for every overtake and every holding of position. They're going to race him at least that hard, if not harder.
If not harder, yeah.
They'll probably use more bodywork, whereas I didn't use any of the bodywork on him. So I mean, like that's fun to me. I'm like, hopefully learn something. That's what I'm out there every weekend to do, is hopefully teach these guys not a lesson like in the nasty sense. I'm out there to try and help them grow, because it helps the category grow and it helps the class grow, and the better they get, the better that I have to be, so it helps me grow as well. Yeah, fair enough. And I mean, like, I don't know, I'd love to have like a little visor cam to look into your eyes and see whether you were grimacing or smiling or whatever. That would have been really cool. No, I was laughing. I was having a great time. And,
that's good.
Like I did come off and straight away I was like, that was actually good fun. Actually, I had like two really good races, like Heat 3 and Heat 4 at Monarto were really, really fun. Like really, really enjoyed them. So, had to get my sweat up and have a solid crack.
We in the next few days we'll be releasing a episode of our podcast where we interviewed Sebastian Eskandari-Morandi, and one of the things that will come up and feature in that podcast is the intensity of the racing in Europe, where it's we think it's no holds barred in some cases when we race, whereas overseas is next level. And actually, I didn't realise that you'd actually gone over and had a couple of rounds. Well, not driving, but you were there as a support person for our world champs.
Yeah, did that twice. Once at SA in France, and the second time was Le Conca in Italy. It's just another level. Like it makes. I'm sure I've said it before, but like if you go to the World Championships for go-karting, it actually makes a V8 Supercars paddock look kind of second class. Yeah. And it's quite eye-opening. But yeah, like the racing, we keep going on about it, that the karting championships here in Australia are pretty full on, but over there it's like, if you want to win a race, the best way to do it is be in front. So if someone gets in front of you, you got to get back in front of them straight away. Yep. That's just how they race, and it's full on. Yeah, absolutely. But I still think from footage and bits and pieces that I've seen, the four-stroke class as a whole this year has provided the best quality of racing across all the classes, at least in South Australia. Yeah, I would agree. It's always close. And you see up with the heavies and stuff. There's a few of them all close. The lights, it's all been pretty close. It was good to have that kind of racing as well. And I know you said I should walk away with it at Barossa, but it really depends on who enters. If Wes is there, it's going to make it hard. Nick Dunn's really picked up the pace in the last few race meetings, and that showed he was right there. He actually got in front of me as well and led a race on the weekend for a few corners. But it's just the whole category is just lifting, and then like I said, it's so much fun. It's just so cheap and easy. Start the race weekend with 10 litres of premium unleaded, and I put 7 in my road car after I'm finished with it. So it's super easy. Yeah, absolutely. So Barossa's going to be really interesting. As a bit of a preview, it's 2 10 laps, a 15 and a 20 lap final at this stage. Yeah, that may change a little bit depending on entries and stuff like that. But in the heavy class, I'm not sure whether Daniel Bowden will be racing. He might be in Europe by that stage, but if he is, then that state title could go to any one of 5 people. Really, it'd be James Place, Tim Murphy, Bowden, Dave Skinner,
and a smoky, depending if he gets his act together in terms of qualifying and that sort of thing, maybe Anthony, my brother, in terms of podium. But they've been really sort of the 5 key guys in the heavy class on and off for a majority of the season.
Yeah, and it comes down to if there's any incidences as well. Like, one incident can put someone a long way behind and it's hard to catch up. But, it's going to be a good event. I know that there's already about 8 or 9 entered in mediums and I'm not one of them yet, so that's going to make it 10 or so. The lights field is a little bit dwindling. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be many lights getting around at the moment. Like, lights didn't even field a class at Monarto.
Yeah.
Should be good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got results for Monarto.
We sure do.
Fire through.
Yeah. So, Cadet 9 was Bo Chambers, Diesel Waddell, Jet Herring. In Cadet 12, we had Dominic McCurry, Scarlett Pittam, and Ileana Ostojic. KA3 Junior, Noah Enright, Joan Bronio, and Mitch Burgermeister. KA3 Senior Light, Leo Ianella, Max Wusko, and Josh Elliston. Tag Restricted Light, Ben Press, Shane Morland, Sam Mutinen. And Tag Restricted Medium, Jackson Callow, Kyle Booth, Chris Prestige. In Tag 125 Light, Jacob Chandler, Austin Worrell, and a very unlucky Ryan Morgan with a penalty after a last lap incident there. Tag 125 Medium, Josh Fielding led home Paul Pittam. Tag 125 Masters, Aaron Gray, Scott Evans, Simon Major. And 4SS Medium, myself, then Wes Bowden, then Lee Chesson, who didn't rock up for qualifying on Saturday, so he had some work to do to get back through the field, and on his P plates finished 3rd there, so that's a great result from him. And 4SS Heavy, James Place, Daniel Bowden, Tim Murphy, and again, those 3 guys had some cracking battles over the course of the weekend in their 4SS Heavy field.
Yeah, very intense, and that's why Barossa, if there's ever a time that you wanted to have a really good qualifying session, Barossa is it, especially with a depth of field like, say, really in both classes, mediums and, we'll say mediums and heavies, because that's really, at the moment, there's no lights that we're aware of.
Yeah.
And, anyone that's light will probably put some lead on and join the medium class anyway.
Yeah, and even if, you're saying people to go and race or whatever, watch racing, like spectators as well. Like, if you've been thinking about going and watching some go-kart racing, Saturday the 2nd into the evening at the Barossa Go-Kart Club out there at Nuriutpa, you're going to see some pretty intense action, I reckon. On that tight little track, there's not much room for passing, so qualifying is going to be super important, and then it's going to be about holding your position during the race. One
thing I like about the spectator areas at Barossa is that it actually provides you with a bit of an amphitheatre type feel.
Yeah.
In particular when you're coming into Gumtree and into through the last sweeper, whatever corner that is, we'll call it the last corner, the left-hander.
Yeah.
When there's heaps of people watching on the grandstands and stuff, it actually does feel like almost like I wouldn't say a coliseum as such, it might be a bit over the top, but you get that amphitheatre type feel. It's really cool.
And cars parked all around the back in the car park and, sitting there watching on their bonnets and stuff like that. It actually is really cool. Racing there under lights especially, there's good fun.
That'll test me under lights, my God. I'm like Mr. Magoo driving.
Yeah, just don't forget your clear visor.
I feel sorry for the people if I'm behind and it's in night time, and that's going to be a challenge. We'll see how we go. Anyway. AKC, speaking of challenging, last round was at Todd Road that was held over the weekend.
Yep.
The numbers were such that they actually had to start the race weekend a day earlier. I had to do a double take and check the calendar and think, hold on, what day is it today?
Yep.
And but they ran it on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday and the Sunday, so a 4-day weekend, which may be a sign of things to come if the series continues to grow and grow like it is at the moment. So 400 plus drivers that they had. It was insane. So credit to to all concerned for supporting the series. So I'm going to read the results of the final of each class and then the champions. Now, this is based on Speed Hive. So, Lee Cocker, if you decide to give me a call tomorrow and tell me that some of the results are incorrect, I'm only going through Speed Hive. So don't kill me. All right, KZ2, Dylan Guest, James Golding and Samuel Dicker. KA2, Brad Madgman, Kai Burke and Mika Lemasuria. Almost sounds like Lemura. X30 was Jace Matthews, Toby Spinks and Brad Jenner.
So I'll pull you up there. I believe Jace Matthews had been given a starting infringement penalty or a drop-down bumper penalty, so he got relegated. I'm not sure how far down, but the win went to Toby Spinks with Brad Jenner in second.
I wonder if he went down to...
I'm not sure if he went down to third or went down to fourth, but if he did go down to fourth, then Jacob Dowson from South Australia ended up on the podium in third place.
Okay, because that will have an impact on the championship.
He still was well in front in the championship. I think he had wrapped up the championship Saturday afternoon. Yep.
Cool. All right, so I can still keep that there. Cadet 12, Archie Bristow, Cooper Foley and Joseph Bianchini. KA3 Senior was Hugh Maguire, Robert Graham and Hunter Salvatore. Cadet 9 was Brock Nolan, Lucas Losco and Alana Gurney. And then Tag 125 was Harrison Hoey, the Falcon, Zach Hurd and Jack Wells, KA3 Junior, Jack Swetchuk, Pip Kazabene and William Thompson. So therefore, champions for KZ, Samuel Dicker. KA2 was Max Walton. Cadet 12 was Corey Carson. KA3 Senior was Keegan Fraser. Cadet 9, Brock Nolan. Tag 125, Harrison Hoey. KA3 Junior, Pip Kazabene. And X30 was Jace Matthews, we think. Well, no, definitely confirmed. Yeah. So that was the wrap-up of AKC. Your takeaways, because I know you've done a few rounds this year. What have you got planned or what's in the pipeline if you are prepared to talk about it for next year in terms of key areas to focus on if you're wanting to go a little bit further in AKC land?
Yeah, well, I think we found some stuff with the kart after Perth that definitely made the karts faster. That we didn't try those things in Perth either. So, we think that that's probably going to set us in a better stead. It'll really depend on what the championship looks like and the timings of that. But we plan to do most of it again, barring whether we end up in the fence in the first 3 rounds or not. But we've got some new go-karts coming, so we'll roll them out towards the end of the year and get them fired up, ready to go for next year. We have a couple of juniors coming on board for next season as well. There's probably going to be a lot of ferrying go-karts to and from race meetings and being on the spanners. So, really looking forward to it. I know we've got to work on some engine stuff. We've found that out pretty quickly at Monarto that we're lacking horsepower, but at least that was a bit of an eye-opener into where we need to focus our development over the last remaining months of this year and early into next year.
What happened to Cody? Because I noticed he had a couple of DNSs or a DNF or whatever in the finals. Is that engine related or just
basically engine related, so he packed up and went home. When you're 8 kilometres an hour down on someone down the front straight at Monarto and then 5 to 6 kilometres an hour down on all the other straights from there in the field, the KA field, he was he didn't really want to race it. There was no point wasting the equipment because there was no speed there anyway. And then racing against 3 other drivers in the Tag 125 class, he again didn't want to waste the equipment and tyres and all the rest of it. So we put them in the trailer and we're going to focus on a couple of test days between now and the state titles and hopefully find a little bit more speed.
Was that like the stage one of, say, because I know you guys had said you'd bought a dyno recently, is that stage one of say Pro Kart build spec, or is that still through previous engine relationships that you've had?
No, we haven't done any of the engine work ourselves, so it's just previous engine work and the motors. We had been using a JK motor in KA, but it had to be rebuilt and get ready to go for the States and stuff, so we didn't have that one on, and we had a different engine on that hasn't done as much work, so it probably needs another rebuild. It needs to go back and get freshened up and be retuned and all the rest of it, so that was there. But the Tag 125, I think we were close enough in, but save the equipment, and we'll do a couple more test days before the state titles in middle of September.
Yes, are there a week or 2 weeks after the...
2 weeks after the 4SS state title, so...
He'll be a very, very busy boy.
It's probably why the two-stroke entries are struggling at the Barossa race meeting, because we've got the two-stroke state titles 2 weeks afterwards, tight little track like Barossa. No one wants to bend their stuff up and have a massive rebuild price tag right before the main event of the year, which should be pretty well attended, considering that Bolivar could be in the hot seat for a round of the Nationals next year.
Well, you'd hope so. I'd like to think that those that decided to make the trek to Todd Road just because and they weren't in a position to... I mean, look, at the end of the day, they're entitled to their own decision. It's their choice. But why would you have wasted the money just to make up the numbers at Todd Road AKC when you probably could have saved some of that money and used it to have a better assault at the state titles in 3 or 4 weeks' time?
Oh, they'll do both.
Yeah. Yeah. Then people complain about budgets and money. It's a conundrum, isn't it, Lee?
It is.
There's only so much money you can have. You pick and choose your battles, huh?
Exactly.
We're off to a break, and then when we come back, supercars.
Ready to turn your karting dreams into reality? Look no further than Pro-Kart's Race Centre. Imagine hitting the track in the kart of your dreams, a ride that matches your budget and aspirations perfectly. With our pre-loved kart sourcing service, we make it happen. Our experienced team isn't just about mechanics, they're dream builders. We meticulously hand-pick each kart, ensuring reliability, performance, and sheer exhilaration. Whether you're a seasoned racer looking for an upgrade or a newcomer stepping into the world of karting, we're your pit crew, your partners in racing dreams. Get ready to feel the wind in your hair, the thrill in your heart, and the victory at your fingertips with Pro-Kart's Race Centre, where dreams truly come to life. Visit prokartsracecentre.com.au or pop in for a chat at 30 Research Road, Karaka. Pro-Kart's Race Centre, fueling your dreams, igniting your potential.
Welcome back to Negative Camber, the Motorsport Show. Hopefully you are enjoying it so far, as much as what we always do, bring it to you. Special thanks, actually, to a few listeners, some that I didn't actually realise listened to the show, that came out during the week and over the last couple of weeks, actually, and reached out and wanted to provide some opinion and some feedback, all which was constructive, but even if it is negative, we'll take it. So it's nice that people appreciate what we're trying to do and what we do, and I'm glad that you're enjoying it, and it's very warmly appreciated. But it never ceases to amaze me when people actually come out of the blue and say, "Hey, I listened to it." This and I'm like, internally you're thinking, "You're the last person I expect to listen," but I'll take it.
Oh, and always nice to get a message on the Negative Camber socials, whether it be Facebook or Instagram. Or even on through the website, through the contact us form at negativecamber.co. Really, really appreciate the feedback, and if you want any topics raised or there's anything you want us to give our opinions on, for sure, you can remain anonymous and just let us know that when you send us a message. But we can definitely follow up any questions that you've got and you want to see what we've got to say about them.
Now, do you remember the segment, the Mr. Lee?
I do remember the Mr. Lee.
It's been a long time. I'm thinking, hold on. Just blow the cobwebs off that one, all right?
We have to have a Pink Panther theme or something.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm actually going to throw a Mr. Lee at you out of the blue. No, that's all right. So this listener, this is one of the feedback that I got, and he shall remain anonymous. But you've actually... it's a
halved the...
I've halved. Well, look, let's be honest. So this listener, decided to reach out and said, "Look, hey guys, just listening to this week's podcast. I'd love to hear yours and Lee's thoughts on how we can attract more locals to come and race, as well as interstate competitors for events like the Festival State Cup and the City of Adelaide. We're travelling in a couple of months, so we've got more than enough kids to race against, even though there are a few that are on the fringe that are yet to enter a race meet. It's a little frustrating at times. I don't feel that KSA are doing enough to attract people to enter and ensure the safety of the kids when they do enter, e.g. putting the Cadet 9P platers in with the Cadet 12s who are out there racing for a podium. Do you think that Karting SA are happy with the state of karting here, or is there something else? Just a bit of food for thought. Would be keen to hear your thoughts."
I think no one's going to ever be happy with the numbers that we're getting. We always want more, but like that listener said, what can we do to get more? We need to provide better fields to entice people to come racing. We need to go and unfortunately we need to send more people away to race at those big events to increase the driving standard back here as well. We just don't really have the same population to draw from that somewhere like Melbourne or New South Wales do, which helps, while those particular people are going away and they're racing against more drivers, they're really still racing against 3 or 4 fast drivers, and then the rest are making up the field. So, it's hard. It's hard because it's just one of those things to break down the cost barrier to get into the sport, which I guess we're trying to do a lot at Pro Karts, just to try and help people get into it. I know that there's at least sort of 3 or 4 new kids coming into the sport in the next sort of six or so months. So yeah, hopefully we can just convert those people and get them in. Probably need to do more displays and setups at like shopping malls, but then like who mans those, who takes care of those, and what's the platform for generating those follow-ups and those leads. My wife's going to be having a fit with me talking like this after everything that she baffles on to me about. But yeah, so like I guess more outreach. Just setting up at shopping malls, going to sporting events, and setting up a Karting South Australia tent, a stand. Like there should be a Karting South Australia stand at the Royal Show, with a few karts on display, and then a rotating roster of club members that were manning it for discussion pieces. And I don't know, maybe there's an introductory license that could be given away, same as they do with junior sprockets. Maybe Karting Australia could give away a free 6-month or 12-month license, so then all the drivers have got to do is buy a club membership. I don't know, maybe there's some ways of doing it that way. Possibly even the clubs like Go-Kart Club of SA, Barossa, Bolivar, they maybe have some club karts that they can then lease out for a very, very, very cheap price to keep these new people in the sport. So yeah, I don't know. There's a few little options, I suppose.
First thing in regards to your wife, who would have thought that a business advisor that you're married to would tell you how to run your business? It goes without saying, number cruncher she may be, but she does have some talents elsewhere, supposedly. But I'm going to get the mud-eye comment soon, I can tell it now. Mm-hmm. By the way, I've got to ask you a question.
Okay.
Did you use ChatGPT for one of your statuses last week for Pro Karts?
Only one.
Only one?
No.
It was pretty obvious.
No. I will open. I don't have time to spend on marketing. I've got time to spend on doing other things and making sure we're making more money. So if it was taking me 4 hours to schedule those posts and like a lot of brain power to think of a new caption every single week, I've reduced that time to 15 minutes. I've got probably 30 or 40 fired up lines from ChatGPT ready to go for all of my social media posts, and it's a matter of copy and paste and change some words, and it's done that time. Work smarter, not harder. That's what I always say.
Brains. Your head's big enough. There's plenty of brain capacity there.
Yeah, but I can use it doing much better things than that's another 4 hours that I can be building another go-kart or repairing, doing maintenance work that makes money,
or finding nuts for a KG 508 nose cone.
So I'm sure that Cody is very, very happy that I'm not wasting time thinking of words to put on a Facebook post, and that I'm using that brain power for better thoughts.
But on getting back to what you were talking about before in terms of unearthing talent, Karting SA, how can I put this? In my opinion, Karting SA don't do enough to foster talent that walk through local hire kart centres enough to then take that first step into. So you've started doing it, right? We had started to do it ourselves from in a different direction from a Ferrari Club point of view. But outside of that, who else does it?
Yeah.
Right.
It's one of those things like I guess the biggest part of it is to break down the cost, to provide an easier pathway of entry into the sport and foster the community, make it an inclusive community. Like, it's already daunting enough getting into a sport that you're spending so much money on to then be left to your own devices when you get there for a race day and feel like you're alone.
Which is why they should, in my opinion, foster and not piss on four-stroke junior as a class for introductory for parents that may not necessarily be technically inclined. Those things are quick. You've seen them, right? That's enough for a little kid, a male or female, to get in the sport and cut their teeth in, right? But all the parents have to do, petrol in, pull the cord, away they go. So they can concentrate on things like camber adjustments and stuff, not having to worry about tuning carburetors, engine rebuilds, two-stroke fuel mixture, all the stuff that, like, to keep the two-stroke fuel mixture for a kid when you're doing the whippersnipper. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I get, like, and then it takes, you get them into the sport and it takes the seriousness out of it straight away. But it still provides that level if you want to take it further, and the kid does love it. I guess that's the thing, is like, it's so such a big expense to get into a sport. It's not like going and playing soccer where you've got soccer fees and then you've got boots and shin pads, or if you're a goalie you've got boots, shin pads and goalie gloves. Like that's pretty affordable, and that's something that lasts all year. Or if the kid has a huge growth spurt, you go and buy another set of boots or whatever. But like, to get into go-karting, it's an expense. Like, it's hard work, to then not really know if the kid's going to like it or wants to give it up because they get beaten in the first race meeting pretty savagely. It's daunting. So, like, that's why I guess having the availability of lease go-karts helps break down that barrier, where it sort of takes it back into that realm of, okay, well, it's an entry fee and a club membership rather than a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I reckon. Oh, there's a ghost here.
Yeah.
There you go. To give you some context, ladies and gents, we've just looked out and the studio door has just suddenly opened and closed by itself. So we've spooked someone, clearly. Yep. But anyway, we digress. But no, I think untapped opportunity would be four-stroke junior. That are, for kids anyway, and for adults and all that sort of stuff too. So, yes, anyway, thank you for comments like that, and we encourage you to do it. Email us, podcast@negativecamber.co, reach out to our website, come out to our Facebook page, Instagram us even.
Maybe we'll get someone on from Karting South Australia and see what plans they've got in the future to help build the numbers and boost the numbers.
Yep, absolutely.
You've reached the checkered flag of another episode of Negative Camber, the Motorsport Show. A huge thank you to you, our incredible listeners. Your support and passion for motorsports fuels our enthusiasm to bring you the latest results, analysis, and interviews from the racing world. Keep that FOMO at bay by subscribing to Negative Camber on your favourite podcast platform. We'd also love it if you could leave us a review and share the show with fellow racing enthusiasts. Your feedback and support mean the world to us. Remember, Negative Camber is more than just a podcast. We're a community of dedicated fans who live and breathe motorsports. Follow us on socials, join us on our website, negativecamber.co, and be sure to subscribe to the Negative Camber Club for access to exclusive content, episode previews, and special deals from our amazing partners. A huge thank you goes out to our podium partners and our incredible sponsors. Your partnership allows us to continue bringing you this show and dive deeper into the world of motorsports. If your business adds value to the motorsport community, get in touch with us to become a Negative Camber partner. So until next time, stay fueled with passion, embrace the Negative Camber, and keep chasing those podium finishes.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.